So Samsung is at it again. With the wider Galaxy Z Fold 8, they've technically outplayed the iPhone Fold. But at the same time, it kind of exposes an uncomfortable truth about Samsung. Let me explain. What's up guys, Sal here. So at this point, it's basically locked in that Samsung is launching two Z Fold 8 models next year. One is the regular Fold 8, basically the direct successor to the Fold 7 with similar dimensions. The other one is a brand new Z Fold 8 Wide or Ultra or whatever they end up calling it. Up until recently, the expectation was that this wide fold would go in a completely different direction, a square inner display and a really wide 18:9 cover screen. But that plan has now been scrapped. Instead, Samsung is now going full copy-paste Apple. The Z Fold 8 Wide is set to match both the aspect ratio and the screen size of Apple's first foldable iPhone. And I mean exactly, same display size, same 4:3 aspect ratio, same passport style form factor that Apple is reportedly going with. We already have the official CAD dimensions of the iPhone Fold, and yeah, the cover screen is ridiculously wide, even wider than the original Pixel Fold. And guess what, the Z Fold 8 Wide is getting the exact same setup. The only real visual difference is that Samsung's version is more boxy, very Fold 7-like. Apple's version is much rounder. What's interesting is that Samsung recently showed this exact form factor in an internal user survey, asking people if they liked it. Most said yes, and that likely explains why Samsung ditched the earlier square display idea and went with this passport-style design instead. Now, the iPhone Fold will have just two rear cameras. Will Samsung copy that too? Well, no one knows yet. What we do know is that Z Fold 8 Wide will have a 50 megapixel ultra wide. The main sensor is still unclear, but realistically you're looking at a 200 megapixel primary camera. Whether Samsung throws in a telephoto or skips it entirely is still very much up in the air. And that's not all. ED News also reports that the Z Fold 8 Wide will support 25-watt wireless charging, matching the S26 Ultra, which almost certainly means Qi 2.2, built-in magnets and actual MagSafe style accessories without the cases doing the heavy lifting. There's also a rumor floating around that Samsung might bring the S Pen support back on the wide Z Fold. The claim is that Samsung would make the phone slightly thicker to squeeze in a digitizer layer under the display so the S Pen actually works again. But here's the thing, this rumor isn't coming from a well-known or proven leaker, so I wouldn't put much weight on it. And when you factor in the fact that even the tri-fold skipped S Pen support entirely, it's honestly hard to see Samsung suddenly reversing course and bringing it back next year. So until we hear this from more credible sources, I'll treat this as pure speculation rather than something you should actually expect to happen. Now to be clear, the regular Z Fold 8 is still Samsung's main foldable next year. The wide model exists for one reason and one reason only, because Apple is making one. We've seen this play before. Remember the S25 Edge? Samsung rushed that out after hearing Apple was working on the iPhone Air, and how did that go? One flopped, the other is barely hanging on. So why do this again? Well, here's where things get interesting. Look, on one hand, we can say that Samsung outsmarted Apple with the wide Z Fold 8. By launching this first, Samsung takes away Apple's biggest advantage, the control of the narrative. When Apple finally reveals its foldable, the conversation won't be about Apple bringing something new, it will be about Apple entering a space Samsung already occupies. And that matters because we've seen Apple doesn't win by being first, they win by shaping the narrative and deciding what a product is supposed to be. And right now, Samsung is trying to take that power away before Apple even walks onto the stage. But does this make Samsung look good? Honestly, not really. Samsung has been making foldables for 7 years. And for most of that time, users asked for one simple thing, a wider cover screen. Samsung ignored them year after year. Only when Apple decided to go wide did Samsung suddenly agree that this form factor makes sense. Yes, the Fold 7 finally got wider, and yes, it's close. But the timing here says a lot. Samsung didn't follow users, they followed Apple. Now, am I saying this wide form factor actually perfect? Well, not really. Based on CAD comparisons, especially one shared by Ben Geskin, the cover screen looks extremely wide and relatively short. The vertical content will appear smaller, one-handed usability could suffer. This is not a universally better phone. Where this design really shines is when you unfold it. A 4:3 aspect ratio means videos appear larger with smaller black bars. Multitasking works better, especially split screen layout, and if the vertical content matters to you, you can always rotate the device and take advantage of the extra width. So yeah, there are clear pros and cons. The upside is choice. Samsung is giving you two options: a safe, familiar Z Fold 8 and an experimental wide fold. If the experiment works, great. If it flops, Samsung quietly moves on and the regular fold continues like nothing happened. Apple doesn't get that luxury. Apple gets one foldable, one design, one shot. If they miss, there's no fallback. And if Apple later switches to a narrow design in the second generation, it won't be a great look. It would essentially mean admitting Samsung was right all along. With that said, Samsung is running holiday deals right now across its entire lineup. Links are down below if you're interested. And if you want the latest update on the S26 Ultra, click right here and I'll see you there.